kind of sleeping on this game, the potential of an upset for Florida State. How is this little project going to work with all of this new that Florida State has? For everybody new around here, my name is Colin Bashingle, the host here at Bash's CFB Show. You can make sure to follow me over on TikTok. If you look up Bash's CFB Show, I'm sure you'll find it over there. We got a couple thousand followers, so we're trying to build on that a little bit more, trying to have a big year both on YouTube and TikTok. And make sure you like the video if you end up liking the video. Today, we are talking about the Florida State Seminoles hosting a top 10 team in Alabama. A very good Alabama team with an incredible defense. And I think that's not exactly the question mark we got to start with. We got to start with Alabama on offense. And the offense for Alabama is going to start a new quarterback in Ty Simpson. He did play against USF a good bit. If I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure Tyler Buckner actually started in that game, so this might be Ty Simpson's first career start. But this is a guy that, to me, has not been overly impressive. There's a little bit of, like, DJ Uiagalelei in him as far as a high-ranked recruit, supposed to be heir apparent, that just never really took off. And that's kind of the concern for me for Alabama's offense. And the other part is, Alabama did let Justice Haynes go over to Michigan. And now you have an injury to J.M. Miller. So what's this running back room going to look like? And in particular, I'm looking at Richard Young, a very talented kid coming out of high school. Everybody wanted him in America. Richard Young has to be a guy that steps up. Because from the last check that I saw, J.M. Miller is not going to play in this game, might miss the first couple of weeks. With injuries in college football, it's a little bit weird. He might suit up. I'm not fully sure about that. But anyway, so regardless, he's not going to be 100% if he even does play. Richard Young has to step up. Now, he's playing behind a really good and experienced, at this point, offensive line. I have 5 teams that I rank as top 5 offensive lines. I have Alabama, Notre Dame, Miami, Texas A&M, and then Ohio State. Yeah, Penn State's not bad. I could talk about that on a later video. Those are my top 5 offensive lines. So this new quarterback with Ty Simpson has that offensive line. And this running back has that blocking ability in front of him. And the biggest thing for Alabama is you got to look at this perimeter talent. That is really, really good. When you're talking about Ryan Williams, they brought in Isaiah Horton from Miami, who was a really, really good, solid receiver for them. Miami definitely didn't want to see him walk. And then you also have Jeremy Bernard back, who's been a really, really solid player for Kalen DeBoer back in his Washington days. So, all in all, this Alabama team, very, very dangerous on the offensive side of the ball. And that's where you got to look at this Florida State defense. How are they going to be able to match up here? Well, they do have a lot of guys coming back, but they also lost a good bit in the portal. Now, the good thing about it is, though, they return a lot of continuity on that side of the ball. You have to see some of these guys step up. I'm looking at James Williams being a pass rushing presence for this defensive line. I think that he's going to be very important. I also think the guys in the middle, Jackson and Jenkins, in the middle of that defensive line, they need to also be able to clog up a lot of running lanes for Alabama. If they can do that, get this game a little bit ugly, then they could give their offense some opportunity to get up to speed. Now, here's the thing. I am very interested in this Florida State offense, okay? I am very interested in what they're going to look like and how they're going to develop throughout the season. I think Tommy Castellanos, if there is a style of coordinator you want to play for, it's Gus Malzahn. That is the style of quarterback that he is. It's more of a perfect fit than what Bill O'Brien was. And I think fit was a big reason why it didn't work out over at Boston College for Tommy Castellanos. Who's he throwing the ball to? Well, they brought in a couple of transfers, most notably Squirrel White from Tennessee and then Deuce Robinson from USC, a very talented big player. But the one that I'm excited to see is Javon Boggs, the true freshman wide receiver slated to start We'll see if he can be a freshman phenom of his own as Alabama had a year ago. I'm not sure if he can be that. We'll see. I think Randy Pittman Jr. at tight end is also a nice security blanket add from UCF. He was a really, really good player for the Knights last year. And they also have a couple of running backs. They added Gavin Sawchuk out of the portal. They added Roy Dell Williams a couple years ago from Alabama. The personnel and the talent in the skill spots seems to be there, and it's going to come down to Tommy Castellanos and then how some of those guys are going to be able to develop, considering that when you track the careers of Gavin Sawchuk, Squirrel White, Deuce Robinson, they have all disappointed compared to how talented they were. So do you really want, as a receiver, for all that pressure to be on a true freshman, Javon Boggs? That's my question there. Offensive line's also very, very experienced, but I don't think it's all going to gel. My big thing with this game is this. The big guarantee from Tommy Castellanos. Alabama's nothing. We're going to win. Like, don't worry about it. That's the tone that he has been setting all offseason. This Alabama team is built different on the defense side of the ball. Tommy Castellanos is going to have a long day. And I also think that when you look at this team in Florida State, their receivers are going to take a minute to get going. This offensive line is going to take a minute to get gelling. All in all, when I look at this game, I see an Alabama domination. I am going with Alabama to win 35-7 on the road. I think it's a slow start for their offense. I think Florida State hangs around, but major defensive plays and winning field positioning is why Alabama's going to win. This is the type of game I think Kalen DeBoer is going to make Nick Saban proud. You can't go and talk all this smack in the media and then go up against that absolutely killer defense with guys like J.C. Latham, Deontay Lawson, Domani Jackson in the back end. You also, by the way, Hubbard, the safety, Bray Hubbard, really freaking good player too. I think that this Alabama defense is the real deal. They might be the best defense in America. I think they're going to make that statement on Saturday at 3:30 Eastern. That'll do it for me in this preview of Alabama versus Florida State. Check out all my other videos over here on the channel. I had a lot of fun with a little bit of a spice up with the Ohio State-Texas preview, so check that out if you haven't already. But for now, I'm signing off here. Make sure you guys have a good day, and if you see this right before football on Thursday, let's enjoy some college football Thursday night.